Welcome, seekers of the truth, to the Magical Services channel. So this is going to be a most supreme career horoscope for the general collective for the time when the moon is in Aquarius. And the moon, as I am recording this, the moon is already in Aquarius, and it'll be there until the 31st of this month, around less than 20 minutes from noon, Universal Time. So this horoscope will be for that time frame. So the July 29th to 31st career climate is exceptionally potent for professional visibility, strategic repositioning, ambition, and the restructuring of power. The defining pattern is the immediate aftermath of the full moon in Aquarius, with the Leo Sun moving in close conjunction with Jupiter, while opposing retrograde Pluto in Aquarius. This is not ordinary productivity energy. It is a period in which professional ambitions, authority structures, networks, financial objectives, and long-term definitions of success can become substantially clearer. The central career tension is between individual prominence and collective relevance. Leo wants recognition, leadership, creative authority, and the right to stand out. Aquarius asks whether that personal power is connected to something larger: networks, audiences, communities, technology, innovation, and future-oriented systems. The career question therefore becomes not merely quote-unquote how successful can I become, but quote-unquote what kind of influence am I actually building? This is especially emphasized by Jupiter's conjunction with the Sun in Leo, which remains extremely tight throughout the entire data set. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and in Leo it magnifies leadership, confidence, visibility, entrepreneurship, creative authority, reputation, and the desire to occupy a larger professional stage. Opportunities can become bigger, ambitions can become bolder, recognition can increase. But Jupiter also magnifies excess, overpromising, overestimating resources, assuming success is guaranteed, or pursuing status for its own sake can create problems. The correct use of this energy is calculated expansion. Take up more space, but make sure your underlying infrastructure can support it. The opposing force is retrograde Pluto in Aquarius, positioned only about 2 to 3 degrees from the Sun-Jupiter conjunction. This makes the period considerably more serious than a simple lucky Jupiter transit. Pluto represents concentrated power, institutional structures, strategic control, elimination, regeneration, and profound transformation. Retrograde Pluto turns the investigation inward. Where am I giving away professional power? Where am I dependent on systems that no longer serve me? What ambitions are genuinely mine? This can manifest through encounters with powerful people or institutions, confrontations over authority, changes in organizational politics, or a realization that an existing career structure has become psychologically or materially inadequate. The most productive response is neither submission nor unnecessary confrontation. It is strategic autonomy. The Aquarius emphasis makes networks particularly important. The true North Node sits at 29 degrees Aquarius, while the South Node occupies 29 degrees Leo. This is a critical transition point. Professionally, the evolutionary movement is away from the need to prove individual importance through applause, prestige, or personal validation, and toward building systems, networks, communities, platforms, and collaborations that generate durable influence. That does not mean becoming less visible, quite the opposite. The lesson is to make visibility useful. A professional reputation becomes substantially more valuable when it connects to an audience, community, client-based distribution network, technological platform, or organizational ecosystem. The strongest career move is therefore not simply quote-unquote get noticed, but become strategically indispensable to something larger than yourself. The node's extremely slow movement and its data set defined transition from retrograde to direct between July 30th and 31st reinforces the sense of a directional threshold. A professional pattern is reaching completion. Old assumptions about what constitutes success may be losing their authority, while a new model is beginning to establish itself. This is particularly significant when combined with Uranus in Gemini, which remains direct around 5 degrees Gemini. Uranus represents disruption, innovation, technological change, unconventional methods, and sudden opportunities. Gemini governs information, communication, media, commerce, learning, networking, writing, sales, and information exchange. That combination is exceptionally favorable for careers involving digital communication, content creation, technology, media, marketing, education, commerce, data, writing, sales, online platforms, and unconventional entrepreneurial models. But Uranus does not reward rigid professional thinking. If a business model has become stale, this is a period for experimentation. A new channel, technology, audience, communication strategy, product, or method of monetization could become more important than expected. Mars in Gemini, meanwhile, supplies the operational engine. Mars advances from approximately 21.30 degrees to 22.40 degrees Gemini during this period, giving considerable drive to communication and information-based activity. This is excellent for outreach, pitching, negotiations, advertising, writing, publishing, prospecting, networking, research, and rapidly moving between multiple projects. The danger is fragmentation. Mars in Gemini can produce 10 active ideas and insufficient execution. Combined with Uranus, it can create an appetite for novelty that continually interrupts established work. Career gains will come from selective acceleration, not indiscriminate activity. Pick the opportunities that actually have leverage. The financial dimension deserves a particular attention. The North Node in Aquarius and South Node in Leo indicate that financial and professional growth should increasingly be connected to scalable networks and systems rather than personal effort alone. This is a strong argument for developing repeatable processes, digital products, audience-based income, strategic partnerships, subscriptions, automation, or other mechanisms that allow one unit of effort to produce multiple outcomes. At the same time, Venus in Virgo square Mars in Gemini introduces a highly practical tension between quality control and speed. Venus in Virgo is meticulous. It wants useful products, competent execution, efficiency, clean systems, measurable value, and attention to detail. Mars in Gemini wants movement, experimentation, rapid communication, and multiple possibilities. Professionally, this is the classic conflict between perfecting the product and getting it into the market. The solution is not perfectionism. Launch, measure, refine. Venus in Virgo is excellent for identifying flaws after something has been tested. Mars in Gemini is excellent at getting information into circulation. Used together, they create an iterative business methodology. Produce, distribute, observe, improve. This is particularly powerful for entrepreneurs and anyone working in communication-driven fields. Mercury in Cancer adds another dimension. Mercury advances from approximately 18 degrees to 19 degrees Cancer and remains direct. Professional communication therefore benefits from emotional intelligence, familiarity, memory, personal storytelling, and understanding what people actually need. This is not cold transactional communication. It favors communication that makes an audience, customer, employer, collaborator, or client feel understood. Mercury's proximity to the Leo Sun-Jupiter conjunction places an emphasis on something that is worth noting. It means messaging can become a major vehicle for professional expansion. The important distinction is between simply talking about yourself and communicating a compelling value proposition. What problems do you solve? Why should people trust you? What makes your method different? What transformation do you provide? Those questions have greater career value now than generic self-promotion. The deeper restructuring continues through Saturn retrograde in Aries, around 14 degrees Aries, while Neptune retrograde in early Aries remains nearby. Saturn represents discipline, responsibility, limits, structure, and long-term construction. Neptune represents vision, imagination, ideals, uncertainty, and dissolution. Together in Aries, they demand that a professional vision become operationally real. A dream without a structure remains a fantasy. A structure without a compelling vision becomes a prison. God forbid that. The retrograde condition makes this particularly suitable for reviewing existing plans rather than blindly expanding them. Reassess goals, business architectures, responsibilities, timelines, commitments, and the actual relationship between effort and reward. This is also where Black Moon Lilith's rapid movement from late Sagittarius into 0-degree Capricorn becomes significant. Professionally, Lilith in Sagittarius challenges inherited beliefs about success, authority, freedom, education, ideology, and what one is quote-unquote supposed to pursue. As she enters Capricorn, the confrontation becomes concrete. Status, hierarchy, institutions, responsibility, career structures, and material achievement. The implication is uncompromising. Do not build a career around someone else's definition of success. If a professional structure demands self-betrayal, the problem eventually becomes structural rather than psychological. Lilith entering Capricorn pushes hidden resentment or dissatisfaction into the practical realm. You may need to renegotiate responsibilities, redefine ambitions, establish harder boundaries, or reject an institutional model that no longer corresponds with your actual priorities. The waning full moon provides the final strategic context. This is not primarily a period for indiscriminately starting everything. The illumination has already occurred, or it is actually occurring as this video is being recorded. But going on from there to the end of the moon in Aquarius period, the next task is to determine what deserves continuation and what has reached its expiration point. By July 31st, the moon approaches 29 degrees Aquarius, essentially completing its passage through the sign. Emotionally and strategically, the period moves toward conclusion. Observe, assess, detach from obsolete assumptions, and identify the next direction. The career message is therefore exceptionally clear. Expand, but do it intelligently. Take opportunities for visibility, but don't confuse attention with achievement. Pursue larger professional objectives, but examine the power structures behind them. Build networks instead of depending exclusively upon personal effort. Experiment with technology and communication. Improve your systems. Monetize expertise more intelligently. Stop maintaining professional arrangements merely because they are familiar. Most importantly, recognize that career transformation is occurring at the level of architecture, not merely activity. The Sun and Jupiter want greater prominence. Pluto demands greater power and authenticity. Uranus demands innovation. Mars demands action. Venus demands quality. Saturn demands structure. Neptune demands a vision worth structuring. The nodes demand a shift from ego-centered validation toward networked relevance. Lilith demands that the resulting structure remain genuinely yours. The winning strategy for these 3 days is consequently neither reckless expansion nor cautious stagnation. It is strategic reinvention. The professional question is not merely quote-unquote, can I work harder? It is quote-unquote, what can I build that gives my work greater reach, greater authority, greater leverage, and greater independence? That is where the strongest career potential lies in this data set. So that's what I had for you today, collective. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like this video, comment this video, share this video, hype this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, or hype our channel by letting your friends and acquaintances who benefit from it know about it. All those acts would be great and greatly appreciated for sure. Now, there's a magical service being offered in the description box. Feel free to check it out. This is a magical channel after all, and it could be very useful, in fact. Beyond that, I thank you so much for your time and for being here and for being part of our tribe, being part of our network, being part of our circle. Until the next time, blessings.